Generic greetings and welcome back once again to Prison Architect, where in the previous series we made our very first Psych Ward DLC facility, which included some criminally insane inmates. It wasn't a 100% criminally insane facility, which is what this series will be about, but rather was majoritively low risk with a little bit of protective custody, which ended up being actually legendary prisoners, and then obviously we had a criminally insane wing as well, and obviously we managed to use some of the new stuff like the bridges, which worked completely flawlessly and didn't bug out at all, and all of the other associated stuff. In this series we will be building a new facility with a little bit of a different twist here and there. We're going to be doing 100% criminally insane facility, so it's going to have criminally insane inmates as the default option, and that's the only type of prisoners that we will receive. And also it will be aesthetically different for reasons that will become clear in but a moment. So let's go to create new prison. As always, this will be the planning episode, and then we'll build it subsequently from the next episode onwards. So in terms of prison agenda, we're going to go with male. In terms of the warden, we're going to come back to that. For the guard dogs, we're going to go with, well, there's many options. You've got your classic, you've got your companion, you've got husky, Dalmatian cat, and then direwolf. And also there is another one which you can click there, and it's just a question mark, and that is sort of a hidden one. If you're wondering what it is, it's not much of a spoiler. Basically it randomizes them, so when you press them, when you place down these, it will randomly assign one of these as your guard dog. So you might have a direwolf, you might have a Dalmatian, you might have the companion, you might have the cat. We're going to go with the direwolf because it looks evil. In terms of warden mode, definitely off. We're going to go with a small facility because, well, that's the opposite of what we did in the previous series. We're going to turn fog of war off. I was tempted to try it on for, well, reasons that will come maybe clear in a moment, but I think it was a nice experience to have fog of war off, and it's just better for viewability. So you watching it, I think it's just a better experience. In terms of the plot, we have jungle, snowbound, desert, and lunar, and we're going to go with lunar because it is very, very different, and that's why I was thinking of maybe putting fog of war on, because it would be very sci-fi with loads of cameras and that sort of thing. But because of the size of the map, it being small, and because I think the advantages of this stage outweigh that, I think we're going to stick with it off. We're going to generate some space forests. We're not going to generate space lakes because, as we know, space bridges don't work. Buildings, no. Failure conditions are on. Gangs are going to be off, but criminally insane inmates are on, because I don't think you can get criminally insane inmates with the gang trait, although it is a possibility perhaps. I've just not tried it. We are going to put events on. We are going to put weather and temperature on in this one as well. Now that is something I don't normally go with because I'm not a huge fan of the implementation, but it sort of fits the lunar landscape with it being a sort of, how would you call it, sort of like life support type of environment, although, you know, different seasons on the moon, not so much. But we're going to go with weather and temperature to make it a bit different. We're going to have no staff needs because it's a small map, and I think we've already got it challenging enough as it is with criminally insane inmates and with the weather and temperature on there. We are going to have on escape plans. We're not going to have unlimited funds. We're not going to have bureaucracy research, and we're going to have no tools and cheats. No mutators to speak of, but we can add those if we do decide later. And in terms of the warden, we have several options, but in reality we want to go with one of the new three with the Psych Ward DLC. So we've got Dr. Slugworth, which is what we used in the previous series, so psychiatrist treatments are 20% more positive, and you have a high chance of receiving the psychopath criminally insane inmate. And we're not going to go with them. We've also got Dr. Hudson, who's prepared to do what no other warden can. Emergency services work 20% faster and arrive earlier. Costs for repairs are reduced by 10%. So that's actually quite a decent one for really, really high risk, but we're going to be hopefully looking after our criminally insane inmates, so we won't have much of it kicking off. But then again, what else have we got? Hawk Hartman. A former bailsman, Hartman passes down valuable training techniques to his security staff. All guards drop staff keys less often, and guard stamina replenishes on intake. So that's actually not too bad. It doesn't necessarily fit with the lunary bit, but then again, what does? Probably Slugworth is the one that, again, seems to seems to fit it. And yeah, I think we will actually go with Slugworth again, although the other two are different and it would be nice to do that. I think Slugworth will fit in with the 100% criminally insane inmates that we've had, because we get a higher chance of getting that psychopathic criminally insane inmate, which could be interesting perhaps. And psychiatry treatments are 20% more positive, which is something we will be running quite a lot of. Anyway, let's click play and we will start our planning. And first things first, you can see that yes, this is a lunar landscape, so we're going to use things like the, let's go over to flooring, things like the grate, the cargo floor, probably the Slaco flooring and that sort of thing. In terms of the walls, we've also got the wall, the Utani walls built with a high-tech look on top of foundations, so we'll probably use that sort of thing. Anyway, we're going to go over to our objects and dismantle, and obviously start dismantling all of these space trees. This is something that I wasn't necessarily very keen on. I mean, it's sort of a little bit out there, isn't it? It's sort of it doesn't seem to fit the original idea. But then again, we have run multiple mods where we've done like a Vault one, we've done a couple of Star Wars ones, we've done I don't know if we've done a 40k one, but there is a 40k one, and here we go. Let's just plan the wall differently. This is going to be the wall around the outside of the facility. Now, I do plan on extending the facility mainly to the left, and that'll come into play when we see like how we're going to design this sort of stuff. But we have to think about contraband and stuff being thrown in. Now, previously we had an issue with contraband, and if we were to decide that we wanted to stop that contraband coming in, we'd have to do a couple of things. We'd have to have at least a gap of 10 from the edge, which doesn't include the walls, so that would be 30, and that would actually be too far. So we could probably do it that size, because we'd have a total gap of 9 and then that one there. But in reality, I'm just going to make sure for certain, if we were going to do this, to have it 10 there. But the problem with that is if we go 10 either side like this, like so, and then go right across, I mean, that's a huge amount of space that we've just lost out on. So, I mean, that's a huge amount of space that we just don't have anywhere to build on. Oh, look at that. When they've removed that, it's gone back to the standard look. We'll have to redo that. Anyway, that's not too much of a problem. So having these as they are now is a possibility, but what I'm going to do is, instead of having these as a fence all the way around the outside, instead what we're going to do is have these as buildings, because then it means that we have a gap of 10 there, which is true, gap of 10 there, which is true, and then we basically have this running all the way along, and all of that will be building. So we're still going to have the advantage of stuff unable to be thrown in, but we also have the option to put things in and around here, which obviously we will be doing. I'm not doing the left-hand side, you might notice that, so this is a very, very big weakness at this stage. We know that stuff can be thrown in from this side. However, we're also planning on extending it to the left, so eventually this will fall around and all the way around the outside. It's very unlikely that it'll be full building all the way around the outside, because we probably won't need it, but this is what we're going to have for the time being. Right, that is in, so let us go over to the front here and we'll measure it. It's going to be 80, which means the centre will be naturally 40, which is there, so that should be the centre of the facility. Is that correct? So we've got 40 to there, and then we've got 40 to there. That is the middle of the facility. I'm not intending to have this fully symmetrical, but as usual, I'm going to try and do it as best I can on that sort of way. So this is going to be our main entrance way here, so we'll have a standard door, metal detector. We'll bring it up a little bit further, probably standard door, metal detector, and then the way in. So there's a gap in between the two, although do we need that? Probably not. Door, metal detector, door. So that should be acceptable. Let's just go to objects and place all that. So we know that that'll be a door, that'll be a door. Actually, we'll probably remove the objects there and go over to doors, and then doors are like that. That is now fine. We will have this as our main reception, which we'll make fairly, I wouldn't say large actually, it's only as big as it needs to be. It's actually bigger, it's 10, but that is acceptable. We'll do that. We will have some doors in here. That'll be the main way into the facility. And now we need to think about walkways for people in here. So we're going to have a similar thing to what we've had previously, where we have like a double walkway all the way around the outside, which will allow for the guards to excuse me, the guards to traverse and go around, and B, it also means that we can have like one-way systems where hopefully hopefully the visitors will follow. It is unlikely to work, in fact, so you know what, I'm just going to preemptively change it to that. I don't think a one-way system is a possibility, because it tends to not work now and again, and B, I think because of the size of the prison, it's probably not the way to go. We're going to go over to rooms, and we're going to go to deliveries and change our delivery and have it set up like there. And we're going to go over, actually we'll extend it down to, let's have a quick look, we'll go from there and make it deliveries 14 to there. Going to go over to our garbage and then have it set up down here, so 14 to there, and then over to our exports. Just Google it there. Google it. That's a new term for searching for something. And we'll put the exports down there, and that should be enough for them to get rid of these trees and put them over there. I should really go on to intake and close that off. We're going to turn off all of those. Going to put the criminally insane to max out. Obviously, it is going to shout at us to say we can't get certain things, but we are going to go for basic detention centre, administration centre. Get all of those. Just get it done. Obviously, we're not going to be building on this episode, but we will at least get those two put in. So we now have these two buildings here. It is probably easy for us to just do that and say, right, that's now visitation, and that's visitation. We're not going to be doing that because, quite frankly, these are too large for visitation at this stage. Instead, what I'm going to do is have probably one of them as a storage and power block and that sort of thing, and then the other as a kitchen, because we're going to have a separate kitchen and then canteens for each of the wings. But we'll see how we get on with that one. I do have an idea for the cell blocks, and hopefully it should be a bit different, similar in probably the mechanical advantages like the previous series, so everything's very close together, but different enough that we haven't built anything like it before. So a nice little mix there. Anyway, so let's go ahead and measure about what we can have around here. So if we have that, say, 20 to there, that's 20 internal. This could be perhaps our visitation. We're going to go over to objects here and see just how many things we can fit in. It would be 3, 3, 3, 3, and then 3. It's not going to fit in. Not too much of a problem. So 3, 3, 3, and 3. That is an option, although we could do it that way instead and have them right next to each other. Or we actually put them right up against the wall, which is something we don't usually do, and that seems to fit in quite well, bearing in mind that we'll have to do this like that all the way to there. We'll have our probably entrance in there, and then this will be a wall like that. Oop. Objects there, metal detector there, door in there, and then a door there. Something like that. So we'll have the same thing on this side. So we will have a fairly big visitation, although I'm just thinking, do criminally insane inmates get visitation? A lot of this is sort of unknown, because in the previous series we had them separated off and they didn't, well, for the most part, go into the main facility. So maybe this is something that is actually pointless, but at least we're planning off. If we need to change it, it is an option. This is not all set in stone or anything like that. As always, everything is in a constant state of flux. 1, 2, 3, and then open that. We'll have a wall back in where there should be a wall. Actually, I think that was actually correct. Let me double check. It is a 3 wall. That is a 3 wall. Doors will go into there like so. That's going to be visitation like that one. Excellent. Okay, so this area here we will set up as, I mean, we could have them as staff rooms and that sort of thing, and not yet determined exactly what they are, but I'm going to say that perhaps one of these could be the kitchen. I mean, you could have a lot of cookers across there and everything across there. That should be fine then for that sort of thing. So let's do that. That'll be our kitchen. I'm not going to populate it because we don't need to. In terms of this area, let's go over to our objects and we'll plan off a 5x5, which will be that. That's one power block. 5x5, that is the other. And then 1, 2, 3. 3 there would connect it up directly to this one here, which isn't too much of a problem. Something I'm not a big fan of, but we could do that. In fact, what I might do, what's the internal on that one? The internal is 8. We're going to make it a little bit on and bring it to 9. It's not a big problem, but that's actually the wrong thing. Let me cancel that off. Cancel that there. Cancel that there. Back over to that side. Run it across. Extend that out just a little bit. Obviously, we know the doors are going to be there. Put them back in. Remove all of that. So it'll be 5x5, 5x5, and then that in there. That's our 3x3. Our pathways, don't need to run those, but we'll put a wall across that. So we'll have storage, then we'll have our power block. We'll also probably have some boilers, or a boiler probably in here. So maybe just put a boiler, like, in there. Like so. Something like that. Doesn't really matter. The whole point is we just have that set up. Although, do we want to rotate it round? I think that would be prohibitive. Let's test it. 5x5. 5x5 would have to run across there. It's not a big problem. And it actually gives us some more options for things. Let's do that. Let's do that. Walls across there. It does mean that this reception is far too large now. So what I'll do is I'll shrink it down by 1 in that direction and that direction. So it's still oversized, but it's not as oversized. So we can have our... Oh, cancel that and that. This is going to be power block with the water. Oh, that's actually too large. It's a 3x3, followed by the boiler. Walls going across. And we've got a very large area. Another large area for cooking. This is quite frankly too big for storage. So there might be other uses for it. What other uses could we give it? Could have a staff room in there. Not unreasonable to put a staff room around here. With a bit of storage at the back. That is actually not a bad plan. That's wrong. Thought was on planning there. Walls across there and down. There's a storage room. Like that. Door can go there. Doesn't matter. Door can go there. Door can go there. And there you are. Staff room, storage, power block. Something like that. This is the kitchen. Probably entrance there. Will be staff only, naturally. And yeah, something like that. Perhaps. Okay, these buildings here, I'm not going to plan them off. Okay, we just understand that that's a chapel, that's a library, that's common room. That sort of thing, right? That's all we really need to know at this stage. Same will be for down here. So what we're missing out on, well, officers is the main thing. We haven't got a security room. We also haven't got any dog handlers. Where can those go? Well, they can go pretty much anywhere they need to fit. But let us plan off the... Let's plan off the main cell blocks. Get the overall sizing down. And then we'll know roughly how many prisoners we have, which means then we'll know what staffing we need, and we'll do it that way instead. Okay, so we're going to remove this section here, and then for the 1, 2, 3, 4, for the main, is that 4? It is 4. I'm actually going to remove that because I don't like. I just 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm just not a fan of the foundation stuff. I don't use the build to foundation thing, or the build all planning stuff. Just guess old habits die hard and all that. I've been building with these tools for quite some time. Maybe if I got used to it, it would be very worth it. But anyway, so this will be a walkway of 2 all the way around with a little bit of the lunar surface, just to inform that. And this will be our main cell block. Now, each cell block will have an entrance on both the left and the right. But importantly, this in the centre will be a canteen. So the cells will go either side and then meet in the centre to a canteen. Now, that, straight away, is fraught with danger, because you can steal a lot of stuff from the canteen, and you can dig with most of it, and you can stab with the other half. So it's not particularly a great idea, but it's different and something we haven't done before. It adds a little bit of extra challenge for things like the scanning and all of that sort of stuff. So that's why we're going with it. Right, I'm sure there'll be many people still upset with it, but deal with it? Yeah, I think that's what I mean, in the best will in the world. By the way, today's beverage is green tea, and the coaster stuck to the bottom and then dropped off and frightened me a moment. Right, anyway, so we have our main cell block, which I'm just going to double check is 4 by 4, which it is. We then need to plan off each of the cells. Each of the cells will follow probably the padded medium build. So you can see we have a shower in there, we have a TV and a toilet. However, I'll probably rejig it so that we will have the toilet not on the edge, more internal, so it's easier for us to, well, find tunnels and such, and more difficult for them to escape. That should be fine. Okay, and woo, zoom out. Let me just double check once again that this is the right distance from the wall. It's it should be, because this is all internal. That's fine. So, I believe that was the size of the cell, because it was a shower with stuff either side plus that, which is an internal 3 by 4, so not a bad size. We're going to go over to quick build and to the medium once again, and we can see that yes, that is in fact the right size, so that is fine. Over to planning, over to the walls, and then we'll do that again, and that is our cell block size. So we'll remove that, we'll bring that right down like so, and then we'll start building all of these. So it is a gap of 3, so 1 2 3 1 2 3. If I will go right across there, come down, and yeah, we'll just remove these as and when we need to. Remove that, and we'll be able to fit another one in. No, we won't. No, we won't. If we have that, it means that that would be the that would be where they eat, which is certainly far, far too large. So we'd have to cut that out, which means 2 4 6 8 cells. 8 cells. Is that it? That's a bit disappointing. Right. See, 8 cells to there. See, if we did them like that, that would be the size of it. 2 4 6 8 10. 2 4 6 8 10. 2 4 6 8 6 8 10. Yes. Excuse me. With entrances and exits either side. So we'd easily have a metal detector there and there. No problem whatsoever. You might be thinking this is daft, but I'm not going to be putting metal detectors on this bit here. The reason for that is they eventually will go back to their cells. They have to, which means they'll always pass a metal detector. It does mean that someone can steal some from this canteen and take it elsewhere. Can't do anything with it, though. There's nothing to do with it. Okay, so let's maybe float the idea around that this is actually going to be our final size for the canteen. 2 serving tables, more than enough, I believe, followed by table. Not going to happen. Already can tell you it ain't happening. I mean, we could have that there and that there. So 1 2 3 4 5 6 in total, 12 on that side for 20 prisoners. No, it's not happening. it is, sadly, wrong. So another option is that we do that. But I don't like that because it's not symmetrical. The other option is I redo this gap of 4. And instead, we make it a gap of 2 around the outside. Let's toy with that idea and see how we fare with it. It won't be as long, but let's see. Like that, and like that. Okay. That'd be there. I was thinking maybe just go with 3 around the outside, but then again, why would we? 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. It's better. And we haven't lost any internal real estate. We've gained it in fact, but we've just lost a little bit of the gap around the outside. That's much more reasonable for this, I believe. We can still have serving tables up there. We can have that set up like so. Hang on. So that'll be 16 seating in total for 20 prisoners. That's actually okay. You don't need it full. You don't need it full. We could always change it up a little bit. We've always got space here. We could just put something in there. But that is the size that we're going with, okay? Not convinced about the internals yet. Don't know exactly how we're going to furnish that, but that's the size. Okay, that is now in. Excellent. What else do we need? Well, assuming we're going to have the pathway of 2 around the outside now, so we've already changed that up just a little bit, but that's what these are all about, so we'll do that and go over to there. You can see the workers are still going ahead and just taking all this stuff and selling it. That's fine. We will have a walkway of 2 across there. In the centre here, let's actually measure that then. What sort of size are we talking? We're talking 14 by 50. That is fine. In the centre here, we do want to have probably a couple of rooms. We don't need showers. We don't need showers. We don't need necessarily holding cell, but it's probably best to have one. We do want solitary. And I would argue need solitary. Other buildings like the library, the chapel, the shop, they're all on the top and bottom. So mainly then we're talking infirmary, which will probably be again one of the sides. And yard. It's basically just yard. That's what we haven't got. I don't think a yard from the top and bottom is the way forward, but I do think that a pathway across is. Let's see, what the size of the bleachers? They are 1, 2, 3. They are 4. So if we have quite a skinny yard, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and have that as the yard, either side. And then let us begin with this. 14. Just going to double check. 14 across. 14 across, yes. Gap of 10. So that goes down there. Should be a total gap of 10. Yes, it is. 14. We come down and across. And there we are. 60 prisoners. in total. Pathways are in. This back here has no purpose. We can't do anything with it. It is just not the right size at all, which we know about, but we are going to expand. That was the plan. That was the original plan. However, with the gap that we've got, that could very easily be solitary. Very easily be solitary. In fact, I'm not committing to the idea, but I'm certainly thinking it is an option. Solitary like that with an entrance there. Could even have solitary like that. Okay, I'm committing to the idea. That's solitary. It makes sense. It's about the right size. It fills that space in. We still have these gaps here where we'll expand and go to the left. It ticks that box. Obviously, it doesn't have, sadly, any... it means that we're not following the exact same design, as in have these yards. But we don't need that many yards. One could argue that we only need one yard for each one. We've currently got 4 yards for 3 cell blocks. So we may add a building in there. It is it'll be an internal of 4 by something. So that could easily be common room. And realistically, it's probably what we'll end up doing. But that is the rough space for that laid out. Let me just put the doors on. We know that the doors, but it's just nice to put the doors on to say, yes, that's where they are. And there we go. That should be fine. Not going to do the internals of this one, or am I? Oop, that is all kinds of wrong. Let me remove that. It is walls, and it's across, and across. Same again. There we go. Might as well do it while we're here. Also, double checking the size of it also helps. Oops. Doesn't help when you mess it up like that. But we know that that's the case there. That's right. This lunar landscape is weird. It does feel even stranger that it's in Prison Architect that we're doing it and not running any mods. But there you go. That's how it is. Thought we'd try something different, and the option is there. I mean, why not go with it? One could argue that the direwolf is the stranger option. Right, that's in. I'm going to go to flooring and to Luna, and I'm going to make sure that all of that floor is now set to Luna because we want it to look a bit better. So, let's quickly run down then our rooms. We have cells, yes, we have a total of 60, I believe. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, times 2, yeah, that's fine. Holding cell, no, we don't have one. Solitary, yes, we do have that. Dormitory, no, we're not having one. Canteen, yes, we've got 1, 2, 3 canteens. Kitchen, yes. Shower, no, we're not having them. The shower is built into each of the cells. Yards, yes, we have technically space for 4. In reality, we're probably only going to build the 2. Also, I'm going to remove that. Common room, no, but we do have space for it. Visitation, yes, 2 of. Staff room, yes, in this location here. Exports, yes. Chapel, yes, around the outside, it's planned off. And reception, yes. So, it's just officers that we really need to know where they're going to go. Because at the moment, we don't have any. So we're going to say then that one side will be majoritively staff only. We're going to name the top bit because the bottom, the staff room is closer to there anyway, and all of this will be staff only anyway. It's only this it's not going to be staff only, so the rest of it can be staff only. So it means we can put the officers in here. Now I'm looking at the size of that, and I think we've just looked out on the size, and no, we haven't. We've actually gone the opposite way, and the size is completely wrong. If this was one larger, we would be able to have 2 officers in there, because officers are a 4x4, and that is a 3x4, sadly. So that's not going to work out. So what are we going to do? Well, if that's not going to work out, then we need to do something a bit different. So let me just double check. I'm pretty confident officers are a 4x4. In fact, I know they are. I don't know why I'm checking. 4x4, yeah. Okay, so it'd have to be in here. So what we'll do instead then, we will have this run across like so. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 office space. So that'll be, in no particular order, warden, accountant, security chief, foreman, psychologist, lawyer. Yeah, that's enough space. Let's check out. Let us check out staff room. Staff room minimum size 4x4. Shame. What I was going to do is have this as staff room. We could have it as staff room, but we'll have to delete that and have that as staff room as they walk past. I'm not against it. And that's the most diplomatic way I can say that. I'm not against it. But it does hinder us somewhat. What might be better? 30. Yeah. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Remove that. Put that back in. Remove that. Shove that back in. And it means then that this is staff room. This will become another room of some kind. Maybe laundry, maybe extra storage if we need it. If nothing else, it's just a spare room and security. Maybe even the medical bit. We could always say that's our morgue, which is actually the perfect size for it when you think about it. There's your morgue slabs there with your door in the centre. Then you have a door in the middle. Then you have your other stuff across there. Sometimes just things fall into place, and yeah, that's what we'll have. We'll probably have something like that. Perhaps. Perhaps. Across here, walkways again. What we'll do is have that. We need 1, 2, 3. 1, 1, 2, 3. I think that's right. Dog crate, dog bowl, space, dog crate, dog bowl. Yeah, that's the kennel. And external is 9, 9, internal 7, and 7. Probably instead armory. Probably. Check that 7, and that'll be 6. I think what we'll do is that it'll be something like, there's your staff room. We have armory, dogs, kennel area, security. Although realistically, we don't need security that size. We just don't need it that size. So instead, then, we'll make these. We'll probably split this room up. It'll most likely be something like that, like a mail room and then a chapel, something a bit larger. But at least that's we know that then becomes staff from there, and then this is all of the extra rooms. So we have our offices. We have that staff room there. Yeah, I'm happy with that. I'm happy with that. So, quick rundown then of the rooms. Cell, yes, 60. Holding cell, no, but potentially can add them when we expand or even put them down here. It doesn't matter. Where are we? Solitary, yes, we've got that planned off. Dormitory, no, we're not having them. Canteen, yes, 3 of right next to these cell blocks for better or worse. Kitchen, yes, over here. It's probably too large, in fact. I'm fairly confident it is far too large. We can always just cut that down there, put another room in. Don't worry about that, we can sort it out. Shower, we're not having them, but they are in the rooms. We can, at a later stage, if we want to, add some more showers. We do have the space. Yards, 4 of them, but in reality, probably only going to have the 2. Storage, yes, in here. Done. Deliveries, yes. Garbage, yes. Officers, 6 of over this side here. We haven't yet got treatment, which is something I've just remembered. going to come back to that. Common room, no, but it will be around the outside here. One could say the same for parole, which we will say. Visitation, yes, 2 of. Staff room, yes, on the top left there. Exporters in. Chapel is around about somewhere. Parole, no, but it will be around these edges. But knowing the size, because it's a 5x5, it's going to be a bit difficult to put in. But we'll manage it, don't worry. Reception, yes. Padded cell, yes. All of these are padded cells. Padded holding cell, no. Padded solitary cells, yes, over here. And psychiatric officers, no. We haven't got any psychiatrist officers. So, what we will do... Why is the pathways being removed? Did I remove pathways? I don't believe I removed the pathways, but apparently the pathways are being removed. Like that, like that. Straight across. And that. Okay. Psychiatrists then. It's not unreasonable to have them like that. Internal 4x4, not really big enough. You want it... That's 4x6, that should be fine. Four by 6 there. That's 2. What was the ratio we had previously? We had two of these for 20-odd prisoners. This is going off memory from the previous series, which, although is not that long ago, my memory always fails me. I think. I can't remember. Anyway, we've got... had, I believe, 26 prisoners, and we had 2 psychiatrists. The psychiatrists, we had space for 4. We had space to double it, but we never did after the original trial, which they were just sat around and did nothing. So in reality... I think a good ratio is 1 psychiatrist per every prisoner. Every 10 prisoners, should I say. So 60, we need 6 of these. Is that a good ratio? Having 2, 4, 6, 8 is probably overkill. I would actually go fast to say, in reality, we should probably just have 1, like that. 1 on each corner. Here, maybe. Like that. Or do we want external? No, because often yard time and then they go there. So out here is probably the way forward. That could be the psychologist's office. I'm not marking that down as a definite. That is unknown, but the space is there. The space is there. So potentially that, potentially more. We'll have to see. As I've said about these bits down here, I mean, we're just going to do something like this, where we'll say, right, so it'll be chapel, library, common room. Well, we need a parole, don't we? There's a parole. Actually, do you get parole for the criminally insane? I think you do. Then again, not entirely sure. Hang on, that one. There's your parole, something like that. Different room. You get the idea. Either way, that is the rough first draft and first plan for our next facility. I'm quite happy with it. The original intention, as I stated at the start of the episode, was to have these wings, top and bottom, with a central canteen with the kitchen off to one side, because we've had success with that in the previous series. The disadvantage is it is definitely off to one side. It also is quite far away from certainly this left one, and as we expand to the left, which is what we've planned off now, we've already said that we are going to do that. Having that is going to be potentially an issue because, well, the further it goes away, the longer they have to travel. But it's what we've decided on. It's something different, hopefully quite interesting. Something I'm quite happy with at this stage, but we'll have to see how we get on as we progress on. Next episode, we will start construction, and it will basically be getting all of these very basic grants. So going for basic detention centre, administration centre, getting in the extra grant, short long-term investment, you get the drill. Either way, hope you have enjoyed this video on the start of the series. As always, comments in the comments. For those that do leave comments, thank you very much. It's very appreciative for having constructive comments about what we need to do and chop and change. Understand that I do record these episodes sometimes in advance, so I don't always have the instant reaction to get back to that one on the very next episode. It just depends on when schedule permits and that sort of thing. And quite frankly, the game is already flinging errors at us, because I don't know if you know, but you can see that log is getting picked up. It is getting brought to the it's getting brought to the storage, but then the other log that's in storage is getting dumped and taken over there, because I mean the game's only been out about 15 decades. Sell log there, gone. Go over to that other log. Sell log. Job done. Right, next episode we will crack on and begin the construction. As always, we have enjoyed the video and the series for what it is thus far. Comments in the comments. Thanks very much for watching. Take care, and generic partings.